All right, we've got something a little bit spicier for you today. We have a Panette Sigurd Swordmaster build. Now this build, honestly, is one of the most fun Panette builds I've used in a while because it's similar to most of her builds where you just run around and crit things, but this is like, imagine you're on like a tank or something faster, maybe like a Jeep or a motorcycle. Let's say you're on a motorcycle, not a horse. Horses are stupid. You're on a motorcycle. You're a bad boy. Or a bad girl in this case. You're on a motorcycle and you're zooming around. You're thinking, how can I kill these dudes? And it's simple. It's momentum crits. It's so simple. You use Erica engraving because it doesn't hurt your damage, and you don't care if you get crit because you have holdout. You actually want to get put at 1 HP. Right now she's 69 crit on some things. Let's see, what's her crit on this? 58. So even before she triggers her wrath and her holdout, she's still good enough crit rate where it's better than a coin flip. However, obviously once you get wrath and her passive triggered, she is going to be easily critting things. Now this is definitely more player phase oriented, so I'm going to set this up. I already know for a fact that this does not crit because I just pulsed back, but we're going to get her set up. And she almost killed that on might too, which is awesome. I probably could have if I had like a higher might sword, but check this out. So this is how you want to get her set up. So you can get away with running Erica, because as long as you are above the 30% threshold for base holdout, you cannot die. So if you get crit, it doesn't matter, but really you don't even want to get hit. The whole point of the build is this. You go for 100% crits with momentum damage, and you can also zoom across the map. Those are actually too far away, but you can zoom across the map and do whatever you need to. So Gris is over here being all funny, so we're going to go kill him really quick. We'll just take Gris out, because we can. We have 100 crit rate. What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? We crit him. He can't do anything about it. He can just cry about it.
So
what's the plan? You're gonna get crit, my dude. That's what the plan is. Now, where does this build excel? Where does this fail? Should you do this? Are there better things? There's definitely better things. Panette Wyvern on axes is probably much better than this, but people say Swordmaster is trash. And I'm going to prove that Swordmaster is a perfectly fine class, and that people are just simply using it wrong. You don't even need that much strength. 26 strength, killing edge plus 5 with Erica. The Erica gives you the crits. You don't get the damage reduction from Corrin and Lyn. The Wrath gets you critting even more. Obviously, her passive gets you critting even more. Holdout gets you surviving. Once you get Canter Plus, you can get in, kill something, get out. Her overrides could be better. I will be honest about that. Her overrides are not that good because as far as I can tell, you cannot crit while overriding. Actually, let's confirm that. I'm pretty sure you can. You can like trigger things like Luna and Sandstorms while overriding, but you cannot crit. Yeah, it's just not a thing. It just doesn't let it happen. So her overrides are bad, but it doesn't matter. You get to have some fun. You get to zoom around with Panette. And now, where would I rank this build in terms of power? Now, Wrath is like what, Bond 13 Ikes, that's not too expensive. Holdout is like Bond, I think 5 Roy, and total 4k SP build. The weapon, it's literally 1 weapon, killing edge plus 5, pretty cheap. It uses Erica engraving, which is niche. So honestly, I would say this is like high A tier for just like a player phase nuke that can get in and out, kill things and damage things. Now she could run other classes, so she could be on a flyer. So let's retry and look at other class options for her. She doesn't have to be on a Swordmaster. Someone super chatted Panette Swordmaster, and I wanted to do a Sigurd crit build on her anyways, so that's why she's on Swordmaster. She could be on Wyvern, she could be on something else with higher strength. Obviously she could be on Warrior. So let's look at, where is she? She's way down here. Change class. It's a pretty low investment build that gets you a pretty good result. All right, on Hero, she gets 2 more strength, so even Hero would be better. Also, you would get Brave. Well, you don't get Brave Assist. You're not going to be full health. On Halberdier, running Killer Lance. I think the Killer Lance actually has lower might than the Killing Edge for some reason, so don't do that. On one thing I wanted to try was her on Berserker. 23 dex isn't the best, but with Erica, you're hit plus 40. You could get away with running Berserker here. Honestly, people dump on Berserker, but it's totally fine. If you're running Erica engraving, I'm pretty sure it's hit plus 40. You're totally fine. Like, who cares? What's the difference? Like, 10 hit? If you're on Erica, you're fine. You kind of can get away with it. This is probably a good build for her base class, actually. Killer Axe +5, Erica Engraving, then you just run Berserker. And who cares if you get doubled, because you have Holdout, and you shouldn't be getting hit by more than one thing anyways, and you also have more HP. Now, you want more HP because the way Wrath works is if you're missing 30, you get up to crit +30. So if you're missing 30 out of 47 versus 30 out of 55, it's easier to stay at that 30% threshold with more HP because of the HP difference, right? Like the percentages. Now, you could run higher levels of Holdout, but that's going to cost you and be quite expensive, so it's debatable. All right, so Berserker could be good, Warrior would be fine, obviously. Either one would be fine. Berserker's nice because you have slightly higher strength growth and slightly higher HP, because that's really all that matters in this build. You're on Erica Engraving, so you probably can get away with running Berserker. General, funny enough, General would be fine. It has high base strength. It's slightly lower than, I think it's one less than Warrior. Yeah, so General would be fine. She loses movement, but Sigurd gives you move +1. Then when you engage, you get move +5, so you'd still be fine on that. Great Knight would be fine. Pretty much anything, any class you want to use. You should probably even run Wolf Knight. Yeah, look at the same strength as Swordmaster on Wolf Knight. Paladin's a little bit higher. Griffin Knight is actually a little bit stronger. So Griffin Knight on Sword could be decent. You get 1 more HP, which is nice. The speed is basically the same. You get a little bit more dex, some more luck and res. Significantly more res, actually. Griffin Knight is basically like one of the best combat classes in the game. You could argue it is better than Swordmaster. In this build, it's definitely better than Swordmaster. Swordmaster is still a backup. It also has run through, and it's what else? Doesn't have flyer weakness. So I kind of view those as trade-offs. And she shouldn't really be using a staff in this build, but she could run this, and this would just be better, be similar. So this could be an option for it as well. You want to run Sword, Griffin Knight, Panette, and just fly around going for crits. But this is a pretty fun build, surprisingly good. It's basically the build archetype of Momentum Crit, where you get up to +10 damage on a Momentum unit, and then when you crit, it's +30 damage. So even if you're only dealing like 10 damage, like let's say you have 10 base damage against an enemy who has decent defense, and your crit hits for 30, the Momentum gives you another 30, and you just kill things now. So this is a pretty like reasonable like build archetype Momentum Crit, and on Panette it makes the most sense. Now obviously you want something with more health than Swordmaster, and Swordmaster isn't the best choice here for sure. There's definitely better options. But her hit is quite good on this, 181 hit, like you're not missing anything. So it is very accurate. So she can reasonably hit like Wolf Knights, like crit them consistently. She can hit Griffin Knights and crit them consistently. Some enemy Wolf Knights have like 90+ avoid and are very annoying to deal with. Same thing with Griffins. So this build can kill pretty much everything except for armors in a single hit, which is not bad because armors are the easiest thing to deal with like Armor Slayer, with magic and so on. So it's not even really a downside because most things can deal with armors, but few things can deal with those super fast annoying enemies. So if you have like a Griffin Knight or Swordmaster Panette on this like killing edge with Erica, and you get your Wrath and Blood Fury online, you're going to be crit one-shotting with extreme accuracy some of the most annoying enemies in the game like nothing, and that's worth something. Now obviously on chapter 22 she's going to struggle because she loses Cantor, so you just have to keep her safe, but she still has Holdout, so as long as she's at 30%, you can tank it. So do I recommend you run this build? I do, but on a different class. I would run this on Griffin Knight if you want to keep it on swords, because then you also get staff access. So she can do like utility staff, healing other people and so on. Which also is nice for if she has a dead turn where it's too dangerous for her to attack. So that way she's still contributing, because it can be too dangerous for her to attack in some situations if the rest of your team can't support her or follow her up. Obviously getting Cantor Plus is huge, so she needs to get her bond up and needs to get Cantor Plus. Momentum Plus I don't think it ever factors in. Well, actually no, it does by 1. So base Momentum is plus 10 damage, and then Momentum Plus is anything beyond that. Now if you were to throw her on Griffin, you would be 6 base move and then +1 from Sigurd. I think you get something better from Gallop too. It might just be Cav. Let's see. Momentum Plus really only comes into play on Cav. Let's do this. Let's buy item. Let's buy a second seal. Just for the fun, just for the hell of it. Let's go to emblems really quick. I don't think Flyer gets, that's not a Flyer. That's a Chloe General. Here, let's do this. All right, let's look at Sigurd. Yeah, there's no type bonus on Flyer, it's only Cav. So if we make her something else, let's change her into maybe Paladin. Paladin might be best here. Some people might like Bonite, I don't know why. Some people are obsessed with that class. Personally, I don't get it. I think it's dumb. All right, Sword Paladin, so you get +6 more damage from a crit. You get more dex, which is nice. A little bit more defense. You lose some speed, but she's not doubling most things anyways. Wolf Knight is also an option. Wolf Knight, you do get daggers, which is interesting. You could go for like Peshkat's nonsense if you really wanted to, but I'm not sure that that's better. Its might is good. There is an argument to be made for a Peshkat's build, for a Peshkat's crit build. All right, let's see what this looks like. Wolf Knight. That's basically the same stats, but then you can get momentum plus damage, and you get also +1 more move. So your base momentum before you engage is higher, which is nice. All right, let's check it out. I think you get move +5 on Cav. Oh, I'm sorry, move +2. I was wrong. All right, so let's look at this momentum plus damage. So right now she doesn't have momentum plus, but we can calculate it. Momentum plus, it allows you to exceed the +10 bonus. So she's +7 move. So she's 14 move, which is kind of crazy. So you can get up to +14 damage. Now you have to move that distance too. But the nice thing about this is it allows her to move around and dart across the map, and it's basically identical to the thing we're just running. So you can easily get her set up, assuming she can get damaged first, which is important. You need to get her crits online first, and then she can easily go for those 100%. But even here, like this is near 70. This is pretty good. She should crit here. There's a good chance she doesn't though. All right, she didn't, but she did break. So now that we know that, we could also set her up too. You do have to set them up. That's the only problem I have with Wrath builds, is that they need set up every single map. And you have to be very careful with positioning your Dancer and your quality time units so you don't accidentally keep healing it, because that is something that can happen pretty easily. All right, let's get this set up. Let's get her, and then we'll Dancer. This gets her to her 100 crit, because she gets crit +40, which is pretty ridiculous. But then the nice thing about this, yeah, look at the range now. The extra move, the extra move seriously matters. Now she can fly all the way over here and start one-shotting these really annoying enemies that other units struggle to hit. This is a 100% kill now. Yeah, it's pretty nice. And is she at threshold? 18 out of 49. I don't know that she's at holdout threshold. Let me calculate that really quick. You can increase her holdout so it's safer, but 30% can be kind of risky. So... I'm sorry, so it's what, 18 divided by 49? She's at 30%. She's at 36%. All right, so she has her holdout. So you just want to pay attention to like what values you can stay at to trigger holdout, because otherwise she might get killed. Now the nice thing about holdout is this can attack her and just puts her at 1, and then you just heal her to like 20. Like keep her at around like 20 in this case, and you'll be fine. So pretty good build, pretty fun. I do recommend it. You'll have a good time with it. And you can run it on Wolf Knight, Swordmaster, Griffin, whatever you feel like. Now on Wolf Knight, you do get that +4 damage from Momentum Plus, which is nice. And you also get the +2 move. So this just allows her to reposition and be more aggressive. And you could also switch the Killing Edge for Peshkat's, which is more expensive to forge, but I'm pretty sure it has higher base damage. So it kind of squeezes some more damage out of it. And I think it is 10 less crit than a Killing Edge +5. So some trade-offs there. But yeah, that's it for this one. Definitely like and subscribe if you enjoyed this or found this interesting, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.